Welcome, Elmo. So it's a pleasure to talk and learn more about Jammcard and your lovely story about music. And music for our ears. Sometimes, it's we forget about how ears are important, but now when Clubhouse is running and all this, also start listening more. And I believe you'll enjoy also listening, talking with you in the latest HTEC Fast Forward podcast that we will share soon. So I'll have a few questions for you that we talk about five animals, five levels. Let's say we will learn more about the global, about the market, something about the company, and move to the product and personal level of perception. So when you think of this global perception and global level, how do you see for example, world or also your project influencing in the world, for example, in global perspective, maybe even out of your industry?
Yeah, well, I have, I guess, two different major opinions for in the industry and then out of my industry. But is the question, how do I see our impact, or what do I see impacting in general?
Yeah, both. What it is, for example, now situation of COVID-19 influencing, your project, or some other global influences. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So COVID-19 completely influenced our project. Majority of Jammcard members are professional musicians, or excuse me, all of Jammcard members are professional musicians. Majority are touring musicians and are on tour. And so, everyone that made their living in live entertainment lost all of their work, for the last year. So that has been crazy. We watched a lot of our members hurt, and these were people that were doing really well. They had their whole year of work lined up, and then everything went away. So, I'm excited that we seem to be at the beginning of an uptick of a whole new year of touring and us coming back. And I think it'll be bigger than ever. But yeah, it definitely affected us, and it's definitely affected global, because what's going to happen first is artists are only going to be touring domestically in whatever nation they're in. So, American artists are going to have to stay in America. European artists are going to have to stay in Europe, Australian, etc. So as we were becoming, more globalized with live music, that is, temporarily stopped. So I'm excited for that to come back. But for now, I'm just excited to even, I'm in the US, so we're going to start doing performances again and traveling again just around the US for now. But it's kind of like a relaunch, so we're getting ready for it right now, and it's very exciting.
Opportunity to start again. It was also interesting, with so much zooming and whatever the technology is. Online, it was also quite a lot of this music, that we are aware, how much we miss, people socializing, how music is connecting us in a way. And it's really, when I was talking last Friday with people, and they're hardly waiting, to listen to some live music, to experience, to get this, not just listening, but all the experience that you're bringing actually to life, so I'm sure that this will impact and make people happier in a way, now going
For
back
sure.
to socialize. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think music makes people happy. Yeah, period. And especially seeing a live performance really makes you be present, which I think was really hard this last year, just being present and being happy. In general, it took a lot of work. People had to put in a lot of work in order to just maintain happiness and maintain being present. So I think there's a lot to be excited about right now for what's going on. We're about to start doing some live performances ourselves. I still haven't been to one yet.
Okay.
As of today, but I think Monday is going to be our first little thing.
Wow.
So we're about to come back.
Great.
And going to come back easy, some live jazz, bring in the jazz, warm people up before we start ripping faces off,
Yeah. Warming up them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's in the industry, for example, of music, there are huge changes, there are kind of shifts, but it's giving also opportunities to some, let's say, very fast transition in a way. They're saying that there's more than 2 years change in 2 months, that is happening. And if you look, there's almost 2 years of this COVID-19, and looks like it's stopping slowly, but we don't know what will happen in autumn in a way. But it's also helping some of the projects like Jammcard, and new projects actually to develop new opportunities. It's something that you already digitalize. People are before doing just live. So how do you see, for example, on your market, do you see also this as some with these changes also opportunity on the market for Jammcard?
For sure. Yeah, I think we were moving to a more digital collaboration era anyways, and this sped it up a lot. We're not there just yet, but I feel like the products are all being built right now. And, we got a lot closer, we being Jammcard, and also just our fellow music tech, friends, that are all creating different kinds of products. And I think collaboration is going to be almost entirely digital, or at least be able to be really soon, when it comes to not just Zooming and stuff, but actual like workflow and how you do a Google Docs for a recording session, and that whole live collaboration from wherever you are is we're getting closer and closer to that being seamless, and I think that'll open up a lot of doors. And I think once that's done, we will be able to help support that in terms of connecting a global database of musicians. So I'm excited to support with us just representing so many people.
Yeah. So where do you see Blue Lagoon, for example, on your market? Is there some market niche for the future for musician, for music? Is that, I don't know, Clubhouse, or is there, what do you think will come on the market that can help also musicians to get back, not just to concerts, but actually to find new opportunities? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think Clubhouse was overwhelming, and I think it's already going away.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, somehow. Yeah.
It was, even from when it came out, it definitely took the world by storm really fast, came out at the right time. But from day one that I got on it, I was like overwhelmed by it. I was like, oh wait, first of all, I'm not going to sit around and listen for hours and hours.
It's like radio. Yeah.
Yeah, like just the radio. But it's a cool concept. I think other companies are going to do it, as Twitter already has and stuff. But I think in the music world, and the NFTs are a big thing right now. They're being figured out. It's not nailed down yet. There's a lot of innovation happening, but I think in terms of how quickly it's come out and garnered so much attention, but still is art focused more than it is music focused. So there will be platforms coming out that are going to make it more music focused, and I think that'll be huge. I think a big part of why that will be huge is the smart contract system, which is really greatly needed in the music industry. Metadata is a huge problem in the music industry. There's so much incorrect metadata from the past, so I think solutions for getting correct metadata from the starting point, like, okay, starting now and moving forward, because we couldn't put incorrect metadata on the blockchain because then you can't edit it. So I think just in a moving forward sense, I think the blockchain and smart contracts will be very important to music. It's not there yet, but I think NFTs are helping it come faster as people understand what an NFT is or what an NFT could be. So that's a really exciting space. Also tied to cryptocurrency. I think cryptocurrency is, I'm invested in it and I believe in it. And I think there will be a time when bands and artists are getting paid in cryptocurrency, either to do a song or to play live, and I think that time is coming real soon. So I'm excited about that. I know I would, if someone offered me, $2,000 to play on their song or 1 Ether, I would take the Ether.
Yeah. Choice, yeah. You're adapting, in a way, and exactly like you said. I think it's totally new space that's bringing technology into the music. We would like to enjoy it in the same way, but I think that there's a lot of kind of monopoly on music, more like on production and things. There's a lot of musicians, but in a way, how it's distributed, how it gets to user, is that through YouTube? Is this through Apple? Is this through, this is the missing part, So I saw already, maybe not so much music, but for example, movies or books and other through the also Kickstarter and similar projects, where already consumers are ready to pay in advance, for some of the things. So I think this is exactly, blockchain is giving opportunity to combine different things and connect directly to as close as possible to their fans, to their favorite, let's say, bands or musicians. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and a big problem in the live concert industry is scalping tickets, which is another place where I think the blockchain and cryptocurrency could help in terms of like bidding on an already sold or purchased ticket for someone that's willing to sell and transfer, whatever it may be. I think that's a huge industry that hasn't been touched yet by the blockchain or crypto, and that will do well. But I think maybe having wallets being easier to share cryptocurrency or trade, obviously it's really easy now to buy and sell, but I think once trading becomes a little easier and more social, that's going to open up a crazy amount of things. Stripe is crushing it right now and putting out more and more features. They just put up a new Stripe payment link feature today, like a no code feature that I saw that I was like, oh, I kind of want to integrate that. But
amazing.
The second they have cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin, Ether, whatever it is, on Stripe, it's going to be huge. I know that I know that's already happening with PayPal and everything. I haven't seen it in real use cases yet, but I know that it's like happening. So I think once Stripe does it, Stripe will do it really well. And then merchants being able to, sell in cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency of choice or whatever it is, that's going to make it boom. Because I noticed myself, I would love to sell my services for crypto.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many projects to talk about. If I move to another animal, let's say more to company side. So there's so many. I read your CV, and I was talking with Giovanna. When she was talking also to you, and there's so many musicians that you work with. But maybe to focus just a little bit more on Jammcard. How do you see here? What you're most proud of, in Jammcard? Can you tell us a little bit more about the company or what's all about?
Yeah. So to boil it down, Jammcard is a network of vetted music professionals, currently only in the US, but we will be expanding internationally as soon as the world opens up, hopefully.
Hopefully soon.
Or at least we're planning for it. So we create tools for modernizing the music industry, and we are music professional focused. I think a lot of the music tech platforms, if not entirely, music tech platforms that come out are very artist focused or songwriter or producer focused. We care about all those, but we're also like musician focused. Musicians are at the bottom of the barrel, in general of the music industry, and as a drummer, I'm making a stand to try to build tools that make it better for all of us, and as well helping artists and songwriters and producers, and just kind of how we interact with each other. So we're building many different tools to do that. Our very first product was an invite-only social network for vetted pros, which was the first version of the Jammcard app. And then during COVID, we beta tested our Jammcard booking, which was tying Stripe and payments into tying them into profiles, so people could sell or make offers on each other and make purchase people for services. And now we're currently expanding upon that. We've been working all of this year on this new marketplace that we're building that I'm really excited about. We haven't really started talking about it yet. We're definitely my style is always build it and then announce it when it's launched. I'm not much of a coming soon next month. Kind of guy. I'm like it's out. We did the work. Here it is. Give us feedback. So but we're just kind of expanding upon Jammcard booking and making it more of an open marketplace, which will be fun, and having people be able to sell their services within that. So that's like a big focus of ours. But I think as Jammcard grows, my goal is to have us be global, and to have a large global searchable bookable database of all the best pros in music.
Yeah. When I was comparing, with some of the data, big data, how it goes to music, I was just in one presentation that was ready for one of the biggest beer producers in the world, and they had so much data from the concerts, of course, before Corona time, yeah. But they could match the price on each of the concerts, based on the data, and even let's say announce trends, which players are going up, which are going down by number of listeners, getting the data and kind of how the big data is influencing also the concerts and let's say even beer price, on the concerts in some other way. But this technology, you worked closely also with HTEC with developing. I think you also received some awards on design or something was like.
Yes, yeah, we worked with HTEC the whole time. It's been awesome. Alex and I became friends. I think we hit it off really fast. He was really like a savior to me, because when I started Jammcard, I didn't know what I was doing tech-wise. I knew what I wanted product-wise, but I didn't know at all how to make it. I'm like, the Jammcard app is essentially, and all the things we're making is just things that I want as a musician, so I know a lot product-wise, but I don't know how to get it there. And so when Alex and I met and started talking, he was like, the side you don't know how to do is the side that I really know how to do. So let me help, and he did, and we've been with HTEC ever since. It's been like 4 years, with HTEC. So
it's bringing your ideas to life. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and we won Best UI and UX at the Good Design USA Awards. We won Best Mobile Social App at the W3 Awards.
Wow. Yeah.
So and those aren't even, that's not specifically for music. That's just in general, So it's a beautiful app, and it's been very much behind closed doors, private network. So I'm excited to kind of expand and have more people be able to use it soon.
Yeah, great. Looking forward actually to see. We are now developing quite a lot of this more. We acquired one company, and now another one that's working just on this design, and I believe the next level, will be also with Jammcard. We're gonna be ready for more awards for you. Yeah.
Nice. Let's go. I need more trophies.
To level up. I got to say, when I was talking about companies, it's also the speed of the company, in a way. For me, it's really exciting. There's a lot of economical theories and a lot of formulas, but everything is static. And if you look at speed, how quickly the company is stealing the cheese, it's comparing just unicorns in a way that in 2003, economists were saying, oh, that's a statistical mistake. And there were like two companies that were worth more than $1 billion. And last December, we can talk that there was more than 500 companies valued together, joined, it was more than 2 trillion money, and they were above 1 billion each. So even decacorns are similar. So in a way, the fast speed of developing the startups, of investments, and you're right on the right place. I mean, in US, especially on the West Coast, there's a lot of things going on, and it's helping to make, how to say, maybe a small revolution in industries, where you're find a way to let's say steal the cheese from the big cats, or the big old industries. And I think that's really giving opportunities to a lot of individuals, like you said, with blockchain, with other things, to move forward. Do you see that this will change even faster in the future, or how do you see this speed of companies, of Jammcard and all this?
Yeah, I think it's going to get faster. Combination of technology being more accessible, and even developer tools and everything getting better and better, and designer tools getting better and better, mixed with information, access to information. And just, I think you're seeing companies get product market fit, faster than ever, like the ones that are doing it. So I think people will be iterating and growing faster. I think staying will be more of the issue. Can you hold it and then continue your growth? Like, I mean, like, to bring up Clubhouse again, they're on a, they're falling massively, and they had an insane growth, insane growth. But it just wasn't sticky enough, So I think you'll see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of things. I mean, it's a volatile market in general right now, right? So I think, you'll see the private market be volatile as well, where you're going to see quick, fast highs and then fast drops. So, my approach to Jammcard has always been slow and steady wins the race. So a lot of people tell me we have, like, wow, you've grown so fast. And I don't feel that way personally. I don't know if it's the founder thing, but I'm like, I feel like we're just, we've been growing at a rate where our brand is valuable, and our community is valuable, and everyone feels engaged, and we've been able to hold that for these few years, and I think we're going to start growing faster in the near future now, but we kind of use that time to really develop a solid foundation, which a lot of companies don't do, especially scrappy startups that are experiencing fast growth. Really hard to get a foundation, right? So I think we spent the time these last few years really making a strong foundation, strong brand, strong community that we can grow from, and hopefully ramp up growth, but not like lose that,
So it's still controllable, in a way.
Yeah. And that even comes down to our funding. Like, I've always taken a different approach. A lot of, I think startup in general, it's raise as much money as you can as fast as possible. My philosophy has been raise as little as possible, and just raise what I think is needed until we really figure something out. And then at that point, raise more, but raise with a reason, instead of raise a shitload and then figure out the reason. So I've been raising with a reason, and I'm excited that I'm very optimistic about where we're at right now, and it feels good. So
it's not only about the jazz and improvisation. You have to first know how to play the music, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a first-time founder when it comes to technology. This is, Jammcard is my first tech company that I've ran. So there was a learning curve, for a first-time founder coming in. If you're not an engineer or a designer, there's a big learning curve, So I feel like I've gotten over the hump, and we've done pretty well. And it was our first money raised, our first tech built, and so now I'm like, okay, now we can start moving faster.
Yeah. It's how many musicians do you have now? If you look at Jammcard as a product, how many musicians do you have now on the platform, or how it works now?
So we're every single person on the Jammcard platform that's a member has been vetted by a human. So we've always been quality over quantity. We're currently in 4 cities where we have our membership communities. That's Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, and Nashville, and we have 10,000 members in those 4 cities.
Great. So for 4 cities, it's great. I mean, it's controllable, like you say, and test, and then it's easy to scale when it works. And it's good to make cheap mistakes. When you test and that you then cover.
Well, what's funny is I the first version of Jammcard years ago, before HTEC, when I was working with previous developers, and it wasn't a vetted network of pros, and I put it up, and we had 10,000 users very fast, but it was just anybody, and I realized that was not what I wanted to do. So I threw away that entire code base and database and started from scratch, and built our entire user base from now. That's when I made it like members only, vetted, full-time pros only. And obviously that's going to make the bar is higher, is going to make the user base a lot lower, right? But it's a quality, it's a very valuable user base, because this is like to give you, perspective, like the Grammys, the Recording Academy is 15,000 people in all of the US, and they have like 20 chapters or something. So we only have 4 chapters, and we're at 10,000. So we're on a trajectory to have more members, more vetted professional members at that level, and surpass them next year. So excited about that.
I really like what you mentioned. I mean, when we talk about differentiation, it's like Grammy in your hand, in a way, all the
For sure.
chapters, everything, what you can have. So on the highest level, and it's always easier to
Yeah,
go top down, than bottom up,
exactly. Exactly.
for the brain.
I don't think you can go bottom up when it comes to the creative class. And when you're talking about like the 1% of professionals, let's say, you have to start with them if they are a goal for you to get. Unless you're just creating a product for the general public, do that, But if you're creating something that you want the pros in the top 1% to be on, I do believe you have to start with them, because they're not going to get onto something that's already scaled to, the hobbyists or the up and comers. Because it'll kind of be two different products. They need different feature sets,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but like you said, yeah, but with that, I'm not trying to neglect the up and coming. I really believe in love and want to nurture the up and coming music professionals, like the next generation. And we're actually thinking a lot about that right now, about how to do it, but I want to do it right. But I wanted to start with my peers, because there's a lot of problems for the pros. And that was what I really wanted to solve first. So that was my focus.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really important part what you're solving. It's what the really your segment that you want to serve in long term have a problem. And in solving their problem, it's really crucial. That they are happy with it, and you're taking enough time to develop, to research, to build up, the solution that
For
works for
sure.
them. And then it's scaling. It's easy when you have a product market fit in a way. And we look forward actually to see Jammcard also in Europe and other places. Yes.
Me too. I can't wait. I was hoping to do it even sooner, but the COVID sitch
Yeah.
has put back a bit. But it's okay. We're still building.
Yeah, we'll have to make some concerts. I know Alex is planning to make next year some interesting event. Definitely, we'll invite you. So and to set up, how we can use Jammcard even to launch in Europe. To make some concerts, together with you, combined with the event.
Oh, I will throw a massive jam session for HTEC, the biggest
Wow.
Serbian jam session of all time. Let's go.
Wow. That's already. That's, I'll pull you for a hand, when we get there, to make that a score of our program,
Oh yes.
And when you see, it's a lot about the company and products, but behind every product and behind every company, there are people, in a way. So it's really amazing how you developed. Can you tell a little bit more for the podcast, for example? How was your challenge, moving from musician to entrepreneur, or how do you see your personal? What was challenging for you in a way? Yeah.
All of it. Um, I always felt really lucky when I was a professional drummer and making my living off just music. That's very hard to do, and I never took it for granted. I always felt very lucky, but I also felt like it wasn't. I don't want to insult anybody, but just to me, it never felt like hard work, right? Like I put in many, many, many hours practicing for like 10, 15 years, like to get to that level. And that was hard work, but once I made it to the professional level, I feel like, I don't know if it's just because I'm a social person, because a big part of being a professional musician is like, you're an entrepreneur, you're freelance, you're responsible for making your own money, So I was, loved people and loved community. So I was always doing that. So I always had enough opportunities coming to me, and I was lucky for that. But starting Jammcard and going into the real startup life, that was eye opening. That is hard work. It's never ending, So, and when I first started Jammcard, I wanted to continue drumming, and I mean, I still play drums, but I wanted to continue my career as a drummer. And my dad is an entrepreneur, and he told me, no way, this is going to be more work than you ever imagined, and he was right. So I had to stop drumming. I had to stop touring, and I had to stop making records in order to go all in on Jammcard. So that was really hard, because that was a big shift. And the first few years were really hard, because I didn't understand. I didn't even know what native was, like I didn't even know what that word meant, let alone
Yeah.
languages and how they respond to each other, or what front end and back end is. I didn't know any of that at the time, so learning all that was a challenge. Very glad I did. Now I really enjoy it. But I think that's hard. So it's just such a massive learning curve. And then, raising money and having investors and managing that and their expectations, keeping them happy, bringing on employees, even just taxing, payroll, all that stuff. There's a lot of not fun stuff with becoming an entrepreneur, I learned, but it is what facilitates you to be able to go after, your vision and your dreams and your goals. So for that, it's awesome. And there's been a lot of really amazing euphoric moments with Jammcard, but we couldn't have that if we didn't do all the other not so fun work, and that was why I was also, we started an event called the Jam, which is like our members only live performance event, which has become really popular. That was another thing that really made me happy, because I still got to drum and I got to it still was based off of our membership. So it ties into the community and all of our members in the product. But then the Jam became a product in and of itself that makes money. And it's a way for me to still drum and do live events via Jammcard and have fun with that. And so that's been fun. But yeah, I think, just, you got to go all in if you're going to do the entrepreneur, or the tech founder life in particular. And I learned that. And so you got to really love what you're doing. So make sure that you're trying to tackle a problem that you're very, very, very passionate about, almost psychotic about, or else it may not be worth it and you may not make it, so that was a big part of it.
Passion, yes. And what if you call it like a superpower, what keeps you going, through your toughest days as an entrepreneur? Let's say, is that still drumming, or what keeps you up? Let's say.
That's a really great question. I think I have, I luckily have just the unexplainable thing, right? Because you can have the smarts, or the technical expertise, or being good at fundraising, or, whatever these skills are. But then there's also just the unexplainable, and do you have that or not? And I think a big part of the unexplainable is, are you going to relentlessly go after this for no good reason besides you want to, or you believe in it, and to the point where you don't even second guess yourself in your own belief in this thing, right? And I have that, luckily, and I'm grateful that I do. Yeah, I don't even think about the question you just asked me. I don't even think about it. I'm not like, how do I stay motivated? How do I whatever? I just have kind of been the Energizer Bunny and just kept going after it. COVID made it a lot harder. COVID made it a lot harder doing constant Zooms, being on the screen. I'm an extrovert. Being alone in my office constantly has made it really hard. And I learned a lot about that. And it was a difficult year watching so many people go through hard times. And I've always been a community person. So not being able to have physical community and relying entirely on digital community and digital burnout and all those things made this year for sure the hardest year, but I also think that it's going to make this next year the best year, because we took a lot of things for granted, took a lot of things for granted. The little things, going to a restaurant, seeing a jazz quartet play, having a glass of wine with a friend, whatever it may be, took that for granted. I always have friends come over every day to jam with me, whether it's just another drummer or it's 10 people, whatever it is. Took that for granted, so very excited for this next year to just, be back to, I don't want to say back, whatever, not back to normal, but I guess, we all rethought what meant, what was special to us, hopefully the last year you spent doing that. If not, do it now. But so there's new goals, there's new things that are important. I've always been a family person, but I feel like I'm closer than ever with my family and just my core of my friends and my team. So I'm excited to just not take these little things for granted, whether it's just having food with a friend or jamming with someone, let alone going to a big concert or any of those things, so I'm very excited for the next the next year for sure. And hopefully we all remember that and we don't just go back in and then forget about it and like complain about our little problems again, you know.
It's amazing, yeah. Appreciation in a way, how we became a little bit humble more, you know, with all this what happens, you know. It's learning us from many ways, not just from the health perspective, you know, but all about us as people.
I started, I start end to end every day with gratitude, you know, and that has been a big thing probably in keeping me, you know, cool, keeping the mind okay during these times, everything that we're, you know, that we're so lucky to have. So definitely practicing gratitude has been a big thing. And but I feel like, I don't know, when Jammcard actually worked, I've kind of just been grateful ever since then. So I feel like I've been grateful the whole time, but I guess it's grateful just for even the simple things, you know?
Yeah. So the positive energy multiplies, you know, with positive people around you and music. And I know that Alex is also this kind of person, so you get great together. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And if you look, for example, for inspiration, that's what inspires you. What do you suggest, you know, to what you were reading, you know, in this time, or watching or listening to stay inspired, you know?
The books have helped a lot. Okay, so here we go. So this book inspired me a lot during COVID. Shoe Dog.
I just saw it yesterday. In the shop. Yeah.
The founder of Nike, like the Nike memoir, incredible. What do I got over here? Oh man, here we go. Delivering Habits by Tony Hsieh, must read. I blew through this book during COVID. I read it twice actually. I love it. And Tony actually invested in Jammcard just before he unfortunately passed away last year, which was one of the craziest, biggest blows of last year. But grateful to have his investment and to have his knowledge and just to even have this book, even if I didn't know him, you know, really, really, really incredible book. Ride of a Lifetime, Robert Iger, about the Disney story. These are all great founder executive books. Right now I'm currently reading The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz.
Yes.
Really love. I'm not done with it yet, but I'm like loving that book. That one really speaks, especially if you're a founder and you're going through a hard time right now. Read that book.
That'll help.
That'll help for sure. So
amazing. You like the libraries. It's interesting, you know, how you connected also with reading. You know, it's not all about music, but actually how we learn from others, from the stories and storytelling, and inspiring us. I also feels like liberating, you know, when after you finish a book, after you find out the story, when you force ourselves also to focus on the book, you know, for some time.
Oh yeah, you know, to me, it's like these books have answered so many of my questions, even if they weren't questions that I knew I had. You know, like they answered so many of them, or even I don't know. I feel like they're just serendipity. There's been right place, right time. I'm going through something. I start the morning off. I read a chapter. In that chapter, like somehow answers my question, like which used to be for me drumming up until recently, because during COVID I actually drummed the least amount I've ever drummed in my life. You know, probably two main reasons. Number one, I like playing with people. So I don't really play alone that much. And I usually play with people every day. So there was no one around. So I wasn't playing with people. And then number two, I was traveling, or I wasn't like traveling, but I was like working from remote places that didn't have drums.
Yeah. That's a challenge.
You know, being up in the mountains was great, but there's no drums. Yeah. So those are the two reasons why. So usually whenever I'd have a hard problem or something or whatever it is, anything in life, I would drum and my answers would cut my solution, whatever the problem would solve itself while I was playing. Because I've been playing drums for so long, I never have to think when I'm playing, right? So I can just play and just be like expressing myself and be like, oh, there's the answer, stop playing, write it down or whatever it is. So that's what it always was. But during COVID, it was these books. These books helped me answer these questions, for whatever reasons. I don't know if it's just getting you out of your current head state and putting you into another head state can help solve a problem because you're currently blocked in that one funnel in your mind, when you're in it. So you take yourself out of the problem, and then it's easier to solve the problem.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Amazing. Thank you for great suggestions. I mean, I will double check a few of those. Ben is on my list also. I know I wanted to do it. Yeah.
It's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
And for the end, actually, who would you like to nominate to join on FastForward? Some person leader who would you like to hear, for example, on podcast? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, one of my favorite, or I don't want to give a favorite title.
Yeah.
A founder friend of mine that inspires me a lot is Adam Arrigo. He's the founder of The Wave. They just raised like $40 or $50 million for their concert platform. That's their virtual concert platform, where they build these just incredible virtual stages and have performances where they have you in a motion capture suit, and the performances, but it's live, and you can have thousands of people tuning in from all over the world watching your live performance in just the most psychedelic, surreal environment. And they're doing really, really, really incredible things. They did the weekend show, that big weekend virtual show that happened on TikTok. They powered that, and they've done a lot. So yeah, Adam's doing great things. I would love to hear. He's got a good grasp. His future vision is awesome, and it's a different world than mine because his is the digital realm. I'm in the physical realm. I'm like all in on physical. He's all in on digital. Even my digital company supports the physical, right? So Adam would be awesome.
Great. I will contact him and see how we can get together soon. Yeah. Thank you, Elmo, for all the questions. We are through. So all the basics, about the animals, all the 5 are there. Talking about the global, talking a little bit about the market, talking about the company. Jammcard is amazing, growing company, and also product that you developed and how it's developing in the future. And I really like also your personal, touch about the books, about other things, and it will be interesting to listen. For the end, I have a short question, also about the HTEC. This is for the off the record. We'll cut this out. But for my team, we would like to hear also, how you're happy with HTEC. How did you get together, or how do you feel, about HTEC, or, the experience that you have with it?
Yep. Oh, are you there? Am I losing you? Can you hear me? Nico. Yo.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Well, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you all the time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was my Wi-Fi. Yeah. So, I met Alex, and that was how I started. As I already talked about, that was how I got in with HTEC, and I've been with HTEC for 4 years. So HTEC's totally my team. It doesn't feel like independent contractors. It feels like employees. Because we've had a dedicated team. So that's really awesome. And I know there's a handful of musicians on our team, which is awesome too. And I know that we actually have a Jammcard branded office, and I think
yes, I have been there. Yeah,
nice.
I love it.
Yes, so I think all those things are great for team building. I'm excited to hopefully get everyone back in that office as soon as possible, because I think that'll help a lot. It's obviously been a rough year for everyone, so I think getting everyone together will feel really good. And yeah, but I've had a great time with HTEC. We're kind of rethinking right now our implementation strategies from how we have been doing it, to see if we can move faster and be scrappier, because I have learned that HTEC is incredible at executing on an insanely high level, and I feel like Jammcard is smaller than that. We're not your big enterprise client, not Apple or anything, you
Yeah,
know.
of course.
So I'm like, how do we have a scrappier, more startup mentality where everything doesn't need to be perfect? You know, obviously want it to be work, but you know, how can we just be able to throw things up and iterate faster and prototype, throw things up and get feedback and iterate faster? Now that we have such a strong back end and everything that we already have developed, you know, so our infrastructure is strong. Can we build on top of that scrappier?
More MVP style, yeah.
More MVP style, so we can really find our product market fit, then go into the more hardcore implementation once we know, like, oh, okay, we changed the booking flow 3 times, we changed this landing page 4 times. Okay, now we figured it out. Let's build a more strong code base, you know. But for now, how do we do that? So that's like where we're currently at. This is like very, very new in the last week, you know. So so I'm excited about that.
It'd be great to hear. Yeah, I was working with entrepreneurs for like more than 20 years, you know, and also investing with my money, sometimes losing money, sometimes making money, but also as professor, you know, with them. I think I was listening for a few thousand of these startups, you know, they were pitching in committee, and it's really what you mentioned. It's really important, you know, to not just to make it perfect, but to make it work, you know. That's important. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So are you in Belgrade? Where are you located?
I'm located close to, I usually explain like 1 hour from Venice. It's easiest to explain in US, but actually it's a small country called Slovenia.
Okay, great, Slovenia.
Yeah. That's like much closer to Venice than to Belgrade. So, but everything is on highway, so I can go anywhere. Yeah. And you're based in LA or?
In Los Angeles, yeah.
Which parts?
I'm in Silver Lake, which is 10 minutes from downtown LA and 15 minutes from Hollywood, like pretty central here.
I was living for some time. I was accepted in Irvine, and I went for some courses on UCLA. And my uncle was based in Orange County, and then he moved to Newport Beach, Newport Hills.
Oh, nice.
Somewhere there, yeah. So
yeah,
nice area. So I was
very nice area
regularly. You know, since '95, I was coming quite regularly to LA.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Newport Beach is beautiful. Very beautiful. You know, wealthy area. Not a cultural area, we'll say. You know, like,
I agree. Yeah.
You know, where
bankers area. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, wealthy people that are settling down or have or whatever their business is. It's, you know, but yeah, where I am in LA, it's like, this is where the concerts are and this is where the tech companies, this is where it's, you know, the hustle and the bustle is more so happening here. But Newport is beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's like if you want to move to Hawaii, but you want to stay in California.
Nicely explained. Yeah.